Welcome to the Big Movie Mouth Off, sponsored by Big Shiny Robot, home of science fiction, fantasy, horror, comic book, movie, television, books, and other such news. We're here at Groovy Cinema Pub today to review more movies. I'm Jeff Weiss from MSN.com.
And I'm Jimmy Martin from SLUG Magazine.
Our first movie is Paranormal Activity 2, the sequel to the found video horror hit from 2009. This is actually a prequel and a sequel.
Prequel sequel.
It's the family of Katie from the original movie.
It's her sister.
It's her sister, her sister's husband, the stepdaughter, the new baby,
the newborn baby,
and a dog.
Good old dog.
You want to know my impression of Paranormal Activity 2? Wait, what was that? What was that? Oh, and look, a baby's crying. Oh, and a dog's barking. And a door slammed.
Well, the first hour, I think you're sitting there doing this. Nothing.
Not me.
Nothing happens.
This was me in the first hour of Paranormal Activity 2. Blink. Nod. Blink. Nod.
You know, one thing I learned, and I learned this in a marketing class a long time ago, when your product is terrible, there's two things you can add to it to make it appealing to the general public. A baby and a dog.
Yeah.
But it's putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound because people are going to figure out real fast that this thing's a piece of crap.
Well, and one of my biggest bugaboos is using a baby as a prop, as a peril device.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
Incredibly.
It just shows the desperation in the filmmaking here. This is the same movie as Paranormal Activity.
And that's not a lie at all.
Yeah, it's a bunch of sort of mysterious stuff happens by surveillance camera and ultra green.
See, and I'll admit right now, I was not a fan of the first one.
Right.
Because for me, the joke of playing found footage had been done already by the Blair Witch Project. Now, whether you like that film or not, you had to give it credit based on that it was an original concept. But, you know, if you want to keep, it's a concept, if it made money, they're going to keep it going, and I understand that. But when you're going to do a sequel to it, and we all know the sequel to Blair Witch was awful.
Right, which was the lesson learned there, is not follow up a found footage movie by doing a completely narrative feature.
But you know what? I will give the sequel to Blair Witch at least credit. At least they didn't just carbon copy what they came from, because that's all Paranormal Activity 2 is. It's the same movie, same Ouija board, gags, same cabinets opening up. There's nothing different except for a baby and a dog. That's it. And then you know what? Not only did he rip off the original, he rips off Blair Witch Project by going through the handheld segment of it and does nothing original. I mean, I get mad when I just see somebody ripping off other artists.
Yeah, it's very unoriginal. And again, spoiler alert, it's a sequel as well as a prequel. And when I say it's a sequel at the very end.
Yep.
And that's the biggest problem. I could almost excuse it for everything else. But what made Paranormal Activity special for me, and I didn't love the first one, I did see it at Slam Dance when it debuted, but what sort of struck me was so much of it relied on our interpretation of what was going on. There's a mythology that you establish in your own mind. Paranormal Activity throws that away. This spells out what the mythology of these movies is. Everything that you thought you intuned from the first movie, they're going to tell you specifically what happened in that first movie.
Yeah, you lose the whole, if you were sitting in your house and this was going on, are you really going to look up the mythology of what your grandmother did in the 30s and how she made a deal with a demon and he could take the firstborn son? It's spoiler alert, but come on, really? No, it's stupid.
Well, it sets up an even more scary prequel.
Oh, I hope they do a third one set in the 1930s and have Grandma's adventure.
Oh, yeah, and it can be sepia-toned newsreel footage.
Oh, man, it'd be like a vaudeville act.
Maybe it can be a silent
I hope the first two movies are silent for the first hour.
Yeah, it couldn't help but be more interesting. By the way, I know this had more money behind it and more production values.
Where'd it go?
Yeah, because the performances suck. The script sucks. Even douchier characters than the first time around. Oh, and by the way, remember Mika that everyone hated from the boyfriend from the original Paranormal Activity? As if you could not dislike this movie more, they bring him back.
Yep.
Simply so you can hate someone even more. I was bored to tears and
I could
annoyed.
not stand it.
Yeah, it made me want to claw my eyes out. I was alternatingly bored and frustrated by this film, which is the cheapest, laziest form of filmmaking and horror filmmaking I can think of. 1 star for you and Paramount and DreamWorks. You should be ashamed of yourselves and just stop now, please.
You're being generous with 1. I'm giving it a half because they actually put something on footage. I'll give them that.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, I know continuity is not a big thing in horror movies. Somebody should have told Katie Featherston to get on the treadmill. Either that or she gained 20 pounds of demon weight, because she looks like crap in this film.
Oh, you're so rude.
Have my moments. I'm just returning the favor. I was bored to tears and
I could not
annoyed.
stand it.
Yeah, it made me want to claw my eyes out.